the Clark County Board of Education regular meeting, January 24th, 2023 at 6:30. This meeting is now in session. I'd like to welcome everyone. Thank you all for coming. We have, I guess obviously everyone knows we did move from the old place back to the old place. So we're back here. We felt like this was more of an engaging area. So hopefully everyone will agree with that. So I'd like to ask everyone to stand for a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Now the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First item is the review of the agenda. Would like to make a motion to add item 4 under internal Board of Business to consider and approve District 4 Board of Education application deadline.
I'll second that. You need 3 or you just?
Yeah,
want-
we need to add it, so we need 3. So
I'll do 1.
you make, okay, Ms. Ritchie makes the motion. Ms. Hall seconds it. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion passes 4-0. Any other additions or discussions on the agenda? If not, I'll make a motion to adopt the agenda.
I second Leland.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion passes 4-0. Next item, consider approval of minutes for the January 10th, 2023 special meeting, January 13th, 2023 special meeting, January 17th, 2023 draft budget meeting, and January 17th, 2023 Finance Corporation meeting.
I make the motion to approve those minutes.
Might need to separate them out because Mr. Baldwin was in the first.
That's right.
I wasn't at that January
Which one was your first meeting?
17th.
17th?
Well, the 13th, the special meeting.
That was
Or-
the interviews, the 13th.
So he was
Okay,
actually,
so the
okay.
17th.
The 17th, so we need to make a motion, the motion should be for the January 10th, January 13th, and then we'll do a second motion for the 2 meetings on the 17th.
I make a motion to approve minutes for January 10th meeting and January 13th special meeting.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Ms. Hall, second by Ms. Ritchie. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes, that'd be 3-0. Next, do we have a motion for the January 17th meetings?
I'll make motion.
Ms. Ritchie makes that motion.
A second.
Ms. Hall seconds it. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Mr. Bitt? Aye. Aye. Motion passes 4-0. Okay. Student, staff, school recognition, Mr. Howard.
We got lots of things to celebrate here in Clark County tonight, so I appreciate everybody coming out. I've asked Ms. Christy Bush is going to read off several things, many things, lots of kids. We are super excited to be leading the state of Kentucky and pretty much all things. We'll start with some things tonight.
So our first recognition goes to Miss Claire Martin in recognition of her outstanding accomplishments of being our Kentucky Distinguished Young Woman of the Year.
Congratulations.
Yay!
Do I have any ones?
tonight we are going to recognize our GRC High School All-State Orchestra. We have Miss Anna Wilson.
Saw this coming years ago.
You all are looking so good tonight with all these pretty ladies. There you go. Great job. All right, and our all-state choir for GRC is Mr. Joseph Booth.
This way. Perfect.
Our next is Hannah Platt. Our next is Keenan Robinson. And Miss Charlie Weston. Thank you. Our junior high all-star choir is Phoenix Fairman.
This song is who, yes.
All right, one more. Great, thank you.
Thanks, Andrew. Bye.
Our Campbell Junior High all-star choir is Miss Sylvie Hugel.
One more. Perfect, thank you.
Now we would like to recognize our 8th grade band, Miss Mahi Patel. Mr. Matthew Jones. In our 7th grade honor band, Miss Angelina Stiegel. Did I pronounce that correctly? I hope no. No, sorry, I tried not to butcher it. Miss Aaliyah Daniel.
Will you tell us who?
Okay, okay.
Beth, Caroline Brookshire, and Reagan McCormick.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Ready, move on.
Just advocating for you, brother, he wants you to get a chance. I had my eye when you walked in.
It's just down my face.
I need to compare this right now.
I need a color.
Oh, yeah, I know this already.
Miss Angel Fisher. Miss Reagan McCormick.
You're very welcome.
Miss Caroline Brookshire. Miss Olivia Root. And Mr. Wyatt Jackson. We have another.
Thank you all for coming.
We have two more.
We still have two more if y'all want to. Oh, you do? Yeah, we have two more.
I told you, I tried to prep, so we have a ton to celebrate in Clark County, all right? It's a great problem to have.
Nature and learned talents are gifts, but having the opportunities to flourish and express those in a school setting are available through caring adults who go beyond the typical norms and create an atmosphere of enjoyment and learning. We would like to recognize two individuals who have provided the settings for young men and young women to thrive in their passion areas of band, choir, and orchestra at RDC and GRC. Please help me in thanking Mr. Calvin Smig, and Mr. Christopher Olson.
Did we miss somebody? Okay. Okay. It's just all right.
Guys, I'd also like to take the opportunity to recognize a group of selfless giving, dedicated individuals who work tirelessly to ensure Clark County Public Schools operates to its fullest potential. Because of these guys, we're able to celebrate our fine men and women we're training to be the next generation of leaders. Our CPS board members spend countless hours you may not know about, informing themselves on decisions that impacts every student, every staff member, administrator in the district. Their support and commitment to CCPS to be the best in the state of Kentucky does not go unnoticed by me, and does. So this time, we'd like to present each board member with a certificate and a small token of appreciation from us. Ms. Ashley Ritchie. Ms. Nora Hall. Mr. Billy Bennett, it's new to us, but we still appreciate your work. Oh, get your picture taken. I know you love this part. And the board chair, Mr. Bill Talby.
You did?
Yeah, I probably should post it. I should probably cut that out.
You did this pretty special.
Oh, I'm so
Hold
sorry.
it down like this.
Hey, he's as hard as
We got it. So,
Thank you.
So another special gift, because I can't just do one and be done, right? We wanted to include everybody, so it's not, we can't have everybody come out, but we have prepared a video presentation from the district. We'd like you guys to take a minute and watch with us, to again, show you how much we very appreciate you.
The Little Cardinals would like to thank you for your continued support for the Clark County Preschool Program. Thank you. Thank you for approving our new building.
Hello, this is Travis Markle, principal at Concord Elementary School. Just want to wish our Board of Education and board members a happy School Board Month. We appreciate all that you do for our schools. We appreciate the decisions you make and the thoughtfulness that goes into those decisions. So thank you for all that you do. Keep up the good work.
Thank you for supporting Sheer Elementary. Thank you for all you do. We love our school board from Dustin Elementary.
Yeah, Stroke Station South Base Council wants to thank the Clark County School Board for all they do and all their support.
Hi, I'm Ross Gay with Stroke Station Family Resource Coordinator. Thank you to the Board of Education for always putting our families first and supporting us.
Thank you for the time that you spend away from your family making those important decisions that affect myself, my family, and all of Clark County staff and students.
I want to say thank you for all your support and allow me to be a part of this Clark County Public School program. I really enjoy it and I really appreciate everything you've done. Thank you.
Just like you, we do everything we can to make sure our students are successful. Thank you so much from Stern Station Elementary. Thank you, Clark County Board of Education. Thanks, Clark County Board of Education.
Thank you, Clark County Board of Education.
Thanks, Clark County Board of Education. Thank you, Clark County Board of Education. Thank you, Clark County Board of Education. Thank you from the Finance Department. Thank you from the Student Support Services team.
To our Clark County board members, thank you for supporting our school systems and programs to enhance student learning.
I'd like to thank you all for your commitment to education and to the families and students of Clark County.
Thank you for supporting our students and staff of Clark County.
You're literally the best board of education in the history of the country.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you all. Thank you all. That was really nice. Thank you all. Whew, all right. Down to public comments. Any comments?
No, sir.
Oh, thank you. On to student learning and instructional services. Concrete Elementary update and highlight. Mr. Travis Markle.
All right. I don't know how we're gonna follow that.
That was awesome.
Do our best. Hey, we got a dog though, so that helps.
They've accepted the challenge.
All right. Well, good evening, everybody. I'm Travis Markham. I'm the principal at Concrete Elementary School. We put together a few slides and a short little video, nothing too extravagant, so we can talk through some of these if you want to. There's our team at Concrete Elementary. We got myself, we got Ms. Swart, our amazing assistant principal. We have our secretary, Ms. Jess Montgomery, our attending clerk, Amanda Hager, our wonderful school counselor right here, Ms. Carrie McGrath, and our family resource coordinator, Ms. Michelle Mitchell. A little bit about our vision and our mission at Concrete and kind of how we achieve our vision and mission. So our vision statement at our school is every child, every day. Our mission is that we seek to create a safe and caring learning environment where all can achieve success today and in the future. And then we came up with a how statement, because a lot of times if you just have a vision statement and a mission statement, you don't really talk about how you meet those goals or how you arrive at that vision or that mission. So our how statement, it's a little bit lengthy, but hang with me. So we seek to create a safe and caring learning environment where all can achieve success, and here's how we do it. We involve all stakeholders to move each student from a compliant to an engaged to an empowered learner through purposeful and intentional instruction and authentic assessments provided through a trauma-informed lens. So that's kind of what we do at our school in one big, super long sentence. So, all right, I'll let Ms. Swart take it from here.
So this just gives you a kind of a picture of our student body, and as you know, it fluctuates daily, right? We have kids come in, we have kids leave. So this is not exact numbers, because I know we've had more kids come this week. But it gives you an overall enrollment of about 510, which is definitely an increase from last year, as you all are aware. Our certified staff is at 40, our classified staff is at 21. Right now, we're rocking about 117 in kindergarten, which is really fun. And then first grade, we have about around 100, second grade, 106. Third grade 104, and fourth is definitely our smallest number, and that's 83. And then if you look at the bottom, just at the graphs, we just kind of highlighted that we are at 27% in terms of our exceptional children. And then our diversity is only at 12, and then as we all know, our economically challenged is high as well at 71%.
Ms. McGrath, you want to talk about a couple of those?
Yeah, and so the first little bullet point on this talks a little bit about our social emotional learning. And at Concrete, each morning our teachers do morning meetings with their kids.
And that's something we've implemented as a Tier 1 social, emotional, and behavioral strategy. The students look forward to it, and if there's ever a reason where that morning meeting gets pushed back a little bit in the day, they're super excited for it to come back around and have that time. It's a way for them to build not just a classroom atmosphere, but a community atmosphere in their classroom. We also have been working really hard to have more family engagement. We've noticed this year that they're reaching out through our family and some additional things that Mr. Mark is going to talk about later, that we've seen a huge increase in our family nights, in our fall festivals and things like that. We just did a princess dance where it was our first time doing it. We weren't sure how many we were going to have, and it was a huge turnout and really precious to see all their little girls dancing with their knight, whether that was their big brother that's in high school or their grandfather. It was really sweet. We also have a AAA program that we are working with parents to reach out to parents of students who are struggling with their attendance, and we look at that really more through a lens of how can we help you guys as a family increase that student attendance, because we know that as students are missing school, they're not learning, they're missing out on that social emotional time with their friends. And so what can we do for families to help make sure that their kiddos are at school? We also each week have PLC meetings. Those are with our teachers each Wednesday during their planning, and that can range from anything from academics to testing needs to we have a behavior PLC once a month as well, where we look at social emotional data and to see what kids need to be fluctuated kind of in and out of individual or group services, or even referred out for outside services. We also have faculty meetings on Tuesdays. We have committee meetings and all kinds of things like that. Every Tuesday we have something specific that we work at together as a team to help just improve our school as a whole. Like Mr. Markham said in our house statement and just our vision statement, we really are working hard towards becoming a true trauma-informed school with the numbers that you kind of saw through our exceptional children and our income level families. We know that there can be a lot of trauma and a lot of things that come with that with families and kids, and so we're working really hard to ensure that our teachers and every member of our staff knows how to respond to kids with trauma, because kids with trauma we know can have big feelings and big emotions and big behaviors. So we work really hard towards that, and that's something I feel like we're really proud of. Like I mentioned, we have our behavior PLCs. Along with, we have another person in our building that provides counseling services for students, small group, individual. We also do crisis response as needed. We've worked with Allison Nelson through our school psych department too. Both myself and Allison have been training our staff on trauma-informed care and how to respond to kids, and also just really how to understand their brain. Like what is happening and why is it happening? And if we're not able to provide students the things that they need in the building, we work really hard to find outside resources for them through our community. So we have a big family at our school, and we do call ourselves a family, and I feel like between our staff and students and reaching out to our students' families, we're really becoming one big unit that is really there for the kids as a whole child, not just a part child.
All right.
And we have a therapy dog who's laying in the middle of the floor.
We do. Yes.
That we can talk about a
trained
little bit more in a minute.
Couple other things more on the academic side. I'm so thankful that Ms. Toby Sadler is here tonight. So, Ms. Sadler, do you want to speak up a minute about the next box there? Talks about explicit multi-sensory approach to phonics instruction for K2 through the Institute of Multisensory Education. So that's a mouthful, but what that means is we're kind of looking at teaching kids to read in a little bit different light. We're trying to teach them to decode words. And I don't know if a lot of focus has been put on that in the past, but that's what we found that our students need right now, especially our younger learners in kindergarten, first and second grade. And so we do that through this multisensory approach to teaching them phonics. Do you want to say anything about that, Ms. Sadler? Because you're the one doing it every day.
I'm doing it every day, all morning long. This multisensory approach not only teaches children how to decode words that are presented to them in text, but it also teaches them to encode. And when you can decode, which is to break words apart, and then encode them to write, you have total control of the text in front of you, so you get input and you get output. And I have seen exponential growth this is my 5th year in kindergarten, I've seen exponential growth in my students. So when these kids go on to 1st grade next year, we have lightened their load
Awesome.
a great deal. And it's the right way to do it. It is the right way to do it.
Is this the first year that you're implementing it?
Yeah, we had all of our K1 and 2 teachers trained over the summer. It's pretty intensive training. It's a 30-hour training, and so thankful that the district paid for that, so
And I would
appreciate you guys.
I would invite you to, if you have time, to stop in a kindergarten classroom anytime between 8:30 and 10:30 in the morning and see it in action. These kids are amazing, and they feel so empowered, and it's beautiful to see.
It is, it's really cool. Thank you, Ms. Sadler. That was totally impromptu, by the way. I didn't know she was be here.
I was just having to support
We're looking toward the same approach to mathematics, and what I mean by that is just multi-sensory approach, using manipulatives, getting students' hands on things, letting them, do math instead of just sitting there and listening to math. So, other things, we have a daily what I need time. It's called Win Time every morning, and it's a kind of an intervention time for when students get the personalized, individualized instruction that they need. So we do that every morning.
And during that one time, myself and the other person in the building, not only do we do that for academics, but that's also for social, emotional, behavioral too. So during that one time, I'm pulling kids each morning for that block of time, for that service as well.
And we already talked a little bit about our PLC procedures, but that's where we track some benchmark data and diagnostic data, informative assessment data to see how well we're doing. And we meet weekly with our teachers to do that. I'll let Ms. Swart mention this because it's kind of become famous.
I don't know about that, but the last little bullet there is our teacher support. So something new that we started this year's Learning Hour, and so we're utilizing our own staff to train our other staff, because they're in it, they're doing it, they know what's working right now currently. And so we're utilizing our own staff to train us. And then what's up there, the NKOTB, is the New Kids on the Block Club. And that is for all of our new staff. And it's monthly, they meet with me, and I bring them cupcakes. You know, if you feed them, they will come. My mom taught me that when I was young.
She also won't allow me to go, so if the principal's not there, they go.
Yeah, he's not allowed. And we have a focus each month, but most of it is, how are you? What's something that's going great? What's something that's not? And what do you need from me? So just monthly making purposeful time for them, just so they're not completely overwhelmed, and being able, we have a downstairs and upstairs, staff is not always able to interact with each other. So if there's a new teacher upstairs and a new teacher downstairs, and they're like, I know exactly what you're talking about. It's been really good for our staff in that way. And also we do our admin team meetings, which we just go over attendance issues, behavior issues, staffing, concerns. So we're trying weekly to be on top of what's going on, and then working together to solve those together.
I think we have on the next slide a short video.
I'm here with my friend Kylie Talby, and I'm going to ask her a few questions about our amazing school. So, Kylie, I see you are wearing your Safety Patrol sash. So tell me about why you're wearing that and a little bit about student leadership team.
The reason why I'm wearing it is because, in 3rd grade, if you, showed that you were, a leader, and that you show leadership, and that you try your best and you work, and then your teacher will pick one girl and one boy, and then you get to be on the safety patrol.
Awesome. You like being on the safety patrol? Yeah? What all do you do as part of the safety patrol team?
We get a help in the school and every place.
Have you ever earned a leader ticket?
Yes.
What do you have to do to earn a leader ticket?
You will have to follow expectations.
Okay. What kind of expectations?
Expectations in the building.
Yeah. Do we have cult expectations?
Yes.
What are they?
C, care for others. O, offer your best effort. L, live respectfully. T, can perform the ability. S, stay safe.
Awesome. So what happened?
He was surprised.
What's your favorite thing about Concrete Elementary?
I love when teachers teach
You like when teachers teach? What's your favorite thing to learn about?
math and reading.
Math and reading? What about specials? What's your favorite related arts class?
He
Why?
ran around.
What is your favorite part about coming to school at Concrete? What's your favorite thing about Concrete Elementary?
My favorite part is going to specials.
Going to specials. What's your favorite special?
Gym
Gym?
and art.
Gym and art.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, thank you for answering my questions.
You're welcome.
All right.
Oh, my
That's
goodness.
awesome.
Something else. All right, we're almost
That
finished.
was Miss Hale's daughter, if you didn't know. Some of the highlights, we're gonna go quick, but high attendance award, Concrete earned for the high attendance day in the district. Concrete did win that. And some of our grade levels have won some attendance things. And I just want to brag on our staff. So they come to work, they show up. We don't have to scramble and pull people from different responsibilities. Do things happen? Yes. You know, people get sick, people have families, people have emergencies, but on a day-to-day basis, our staff shows up, and I'm very proud of them for that. And then if you didn't know, we have the KSCA Counselor of the Year and the KSCA Principal of the Year.
Yay!
And then just like the regular old assistant principal.
Assistant principal of the year too. I just declared it. Okay. All right, we also, this year, we earned the family friendly certification. That was a process through the Pritchard Committee. We had a pretty cool Dancers Point residency program where trainers from the Dancers Point came into our school to train some of our students so they could participate in the Nutcracker, and it was all free. It was super cool, so a great community outreach program there.
And Mr. Markham and Miss Ward wouldn't tell you, but they also got to participate. And if anybody would like to see pictures of them in elf costumes,
We were on stage. It was a good time. We work with our partners in education. They provide some volunteers throughout the week that come in and work with our students in small groups. We also work with Mr. Greg Yates a lot. Our Colt Christmas program, it's becoming a thing of legend. Our music teacher, Miss Knox, she's doing a great job. Same thing with the Concrete Musical. We have caregiver conferences. We have our therapy dog, Miss Suki.
this is Suki, she's laying down, she's had a hard day. But I also just wanted to extend a thank you to the Board of Education. I was able to come last year and speak with the Board of Education about this process and how we took about 6 to 9 months to get her trained. And she comes every week, Mondays and Thursdays, and if we have like a Monday off, she'll come on Tuesday. And no matter what day it is, and the kids have Mrs. Hale helped me create a video that the kids watch as part of our expectations when they come back from any break about how they're to treat her, how they're to interact with her. If Miss McGrath says, oh, she's working right now, so you can't pet her, they know to just keep walking. And she has become not just for kids, but for adults. Sometimes, you can ask Tommy Sadler, sometimes adults, when they're on their planning, will just come in and they'll sit in the floor with her. And if they're having a bad day, or if it's just been a tough day, you guys know in your own professions you can have tough days. She really brings a lot of light and love into the building. Kids have been working for rewards even from her to get to walk her with me. She has a special attachment to her harness where the kids can hold on to it, and I'm still her handler, and we can take a trip around the building and they can earn that. So
Even for some of our tough families,
yeah,
it kind of brings the tension down a little
Yes.
bit because they're like, oh, hi.
yeah, yeah. So she, and it's a work in progress. It's a new program for us and for our district, and so every day is a new day, and she's doing great, and the kids are doing great. They're so gentle with her. And so I just also want to extend a thank you to the board and to Clark County for allowing us this opportunity to have her in our school. So.
All right. We've already talked about our AAA program a little bit, our IMSE certified educators. That's the phonics training that we mentioned. We do have a student leadership team. You saw one of those members on the video, and a safety patrol team. You saw our SASH. And we have Miss Jennifer Turley comes in once a week and sponsors STLP in our school, which is the Student Technology Leadership Program. And last thing, just looking forward to give you an idea of kind of where we're headed as a school. We're looking toward the 3 C's and the 3 P's, critical thinking, collaboration, and communication, and the 3 P's focusing on play, passion, and purpose. We constantly have talks about acceleration versus remediation because we're still in this strange recovery from COVID, academic recovery. So we have those conversations a lot, and we also talk a lot about a knowledge curriculum and a skill building curriculum, not just one or the other. And at the end of the day, we're trying to do better things versus just doing the same old things better. So that is it. Any questions?
I have just one quick question for your Frisky. Do you all do like the backpack program where you send things home on the weekends? Are you all? So how do you all get donations for that? Does the community give you donation money for the?
I know that we work through a couple of churches
Okay.
that do those.
Gotcha.
I'm not sure where the majority of them come from, but I
Right.
do know that this
That's
majority works
just such an important. I know for your all school in particular, with that high number, with that number of poverty, is a high number of students in poverty.
I know she's looking for more volunteers to help out with that
Yeah.
too.
Okay.
So,
She usually is packing bags every Thursday afternoon or Friday morning once she gets the food donation in, to make sure that the kids go home on Fridays with it.
Right. It's very important. Like I did Leadership Frankfurt. It's been about 12 years ago now, but that was our big project. I was in Frankfurt and did that. I talked with Miss Casey Ginter. I don't know her married name, over at Baker, and we talked a lot about it. And she showed me what they're doing at Baker. So I was assuming that Concrete would have that too. I'll get in contact with Michelle and talk with her. So just to get her some help.
sounds good.
So in your house statement, what's your biggest challenge to achieve that house statement?
I think right now it's trying to meet the needs of such a wide gap of learning abilities. Because basically you could take a 4th grade classroom, and you could have everything from a kindergarten learner in there all the way up to a student learning on a 5th grade level. So it's basically like a 1-room schoolhouse down there in 4th grade right now. So it's trying to find a way to meet all of those needs when you're one teacher. So that's the hardest part of it.
I also think just where we are, like Mr. Markham said, kind of still a little bit in that recovery mode from COVID and students being isolated. We see a lot of social emotional needs. We see a lot of kids delayed in their ability to express themselves, to understand how they feel and why they feel it. And that results in big emotions, and big thinking results in big behavior. And, you know, we love them all, and we're there for them to support them and their families. And I think we have a really good team in the 3 of us, and then our behavior coach and our special education facilitator and our SPED team as a whole. We're a little partial, but we think they're the best.
In the world.
In the world. But when you put all those things together, sometimes you have to meet, like Ms. Hall said, their physical needs of housing and clothing and food in order to get their educational needs met. Sometimes that has to come first.
Right. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to meet Suki. She's precious. So I follow her on Facebook. So
We do have it's called Clark County K9. So
Yes.
if you'll ever want to follow us.
Okay, next item is Justice Elementary update highlights. Mary Maldonado. Maldonado.
It's fine. Mary M. is perfect.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. Good evening, everyone. I'm Mary Maldonado, principal at Justice. This is Leslie Hammer. She is our assistant principal. Concrete, you did a very thorough job in your explanation. I took a different approach. I created a video because I wanted you all to be able to walk into the doors of Justice and be into our building. And so what I have created is kind of a culmination of what our year has been from August to present, and I hope that you enjoy it.
Thank you.
And our water bill, and our water bill.
That's great.
I will say that I did get that in only 2 takes, which I thought was perfect. So, we have accomplished so much at Justice this year, and being my first year, it has been an honor to lead the school. And I would invite you all to come into the school and to see what we're doing, and to see, as Fox said, our kindergarten student, we're not close to finish, so.
That's awesome.
Can you talk a little bit more about your new intervention strategies that you're using?
Well, yes. We recently purchased a Do the Math curriculum in intervention for our Tier 3 math. Our interventionists felt like what we had it just was not meeting the needs of our most at-risk learners in math. And so we purchased it, and probably the biggest testament to that is our classroom teachers have come and said, we are seeing the transfer of what they're doing in Tier 3, making it into our classroom, and so we know it's working.
That's wonderful. I'm
Yeah.
glad to hear that. And then I'll ask them kind of the same question I asked Concrete. Do you all do the backpack program too?
We
Okay.
do, and Eva Miller, she's our FRC
Yes.
coordinator.
Yeah.
And she coordinates with local churches.
Wonderful.
And so far, I don't think that she wants for anything. I think
Right.
they more than meet her need.
Yeah, I think the dynamics or the demographics of Justice is a little bit different than Concrete, just from the nature of the district.
Mhm.
However, Justice is, I have an affinity for Concrete and Justice, but Justice is where my son went, and and he
Okay.
did very well there. So it's a wonderful school. Miss Hammer, I've known her, I think our kids are about the same age, so she's been around a long time. So you have a lot of seasoned teachers there at Justice, so you
Yes.
can just go anywhere, just so
Absolutely.
yeah, so it's
Yeah.
wonderful. Yeah, and some good things. And that I've been in there a few times in my primary job during the day, so staff are always very welcoming there. So it's a good place.
Good. Well, we invite you back.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
Invite you back.
Yeah. Yeah, getting around to elementary school is a little bit harder when you have a kid that's in high school, so
Yeah.
you tend to
I'm
hang
sure.
out at the high school more. So, but absolutely, we'll do that. So,
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item, consider approval of second reading of the 2023-2024 school year. Ms. Christy Bush.
Good evening. Just as a quick recap from December, you had 6 different ideas that were placed in front of you from the surveys that were given from students, parents, and staff members. And you all had chosen to, I think it was number 6, and you wanted to tweak that just a little bit. So before you tonight, that Miss Beth uploaded, there are no changes in the first semester. You all left those exactly the way they were. You asked that we do the very last day of school on May the 17th. So we tweaked the second semester to make that happen. And that included taking out the teacher workday on February the 7th, making that an instructional day for students. And we moved that to May the 20th to help the staff fulfill their contracts. And pretty much that is all the changes that were made from the one that you all chose out of the 6 to the one you have in front of you tonight.
So in our packet, there's actually 2 of these? Or
One is for staff, just in case you wanted to see a staff one. You don't have to vote on that one, but just to have everything at your fingertips.
I see that now. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I was looking at the dates and they were all the same. I was like, Any questions or discussion?
No.
Have a motion?
So moved.
Have a motion by Mr. Bennett. We have a second.
I'll second.
Have a second by Ms. Hall. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Passes 4-0.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
Thank you for the hard work on that calendar.
Next item, approve second reading of the parent-family engagement policy. Ms. Kelly Pickett.
Giving them a hard time.
For the the improvement plan, or the parent engagement, family plan, I've got all this in front of me. Nothing has changed from the last reading, we all did the first reading till this time, so everything remains the same.
Any discussion? Motion?
I make a motion to approve the second reading of the parent and family engagement policy.
Motion by Ms. Hall,
Second.
second by Ms. Ritchie. All in favor?
Aye.
Passes 4-0. Acknowledge and approve the comprehensive district improvement plan.
Okay. And I know on the agenda it has the district improvement plan and then the school improvement plan. I'll kind of talk through all of them just to kind of give you some background knowledge of how all that works. And then I know you'll need to approve them separately, but I'll just kind of talk all about how it works within our district. So every year the district has to do a comprehensive district improvement plan, which is also known in our district as a CDIP. That's the acronym. And basically, it is an improvement plan that our district puts together by multiple stakeholders, and it's based on data of how we are going to support student achievement, student growth, and eliminate achievement gaps. And much like the district puts one together, then schools do that as well. A district improvement plan really supports all schools and how we are going to move as a district. So it's our district initiatives and then how we are supporting each school within our district. And then the schools have one, that is the Comprehensive School Improvement Plan, or known as a CSIP. And it is the same thing, it is an improvement plan that is developed by multiple stakeholders. And the goal of that is to look at data and how is that school going to support student achievement, student growth, and eliminate achievement gaps. So both of them are improvement plans and they're both focused on data and how we can move our district forwards. One is just the school, individual school plan, as every school has different needs and their makeup is a little bit different. And then the district plan puts it all together into one. So that's how the two plans are composed. This year, according to our KSA data, we have three schools that have been identified as targeted support and improvement schools. And they are also known as TSI schools. So I'll give you a little bit of background of how those schools have been determined. A TSI school means that they have a subgroup, so a subpopulation, that performs at a rate of the lowest 5% of all schools in the state. And then just to bring light to that, currently in the state of Kentucky, we have 401 TSI schools in the state. So that's a really astonishing number right now, but it really brings light to where we've been these past couple of years due to COVID, and we're trying to get out of where we've been and making gains and moving forwards.
You happen to know where we were before COVID? How many schools in Kentucky just?
Not statewide.
Yeah, just kind of wondering how that may have increased.
Right. It is, I know it's dramatically increased, even as we have talked with KDE, and we have been appointed someone to just walk us through some of this process. They have made notes about how this has dramatically increased. They've never said how many before, but they just have said that it's exponential gains where we're at right now and the number of schools that have been identified.
I think at one point with middle schools, the superintendent's conference, they said that 75% of middle schools were now TSI with disabilities, which is what we are with all three. So it's supposed to be the other way around, where 20 to 25, but with the learning gap. I mean, I know that a lot of superintendents, that's been the conversation. How can you have TSI and 3/4 of your schools be in that category? But it's where we're at. We're not going to make excuses. We're going to work hard, which is what these plans are about, to identify specific things to move forward.
Right. And the three schools, we do have an elementary, Conkright, RDC, and GRC that have all been identified in the subgroup of disability. So currently, we're looking specifically not only at the whole district and district initiatives that we could put into place, but specifically how can we support those three schools so they do not remain a TSI school and do not have that TSI status. When you have the targeted support and improvement status, there are certain things that are required by KDE, and one of those are additional layers of support in that school improvement plan. So I mentioned that school improvement plan earlier. Well, if you are a TSI school, then you have more questions to really focus and help bring light to what can we do as a school to really improve that subgroup and that subpopulation. And then just those three schools then have to have that CSIP, that improvement plan, brought to the Board of Education to have that approved. And then throughout the year, our local Board of Education here at Central Office will then monitor that throughout the year and then support them as needed. Do you all have questions?
Will the Board of will the board during the course of the year see any sort of progress reports on how the district and the schools are doing?
Yes, we can definitely do
Okay.
that. Mhm.
Any questions or discussion? Do we have a motion to approve and I appreciate the acronyms, not having acronyms, but telling us what the acronyms mean. So really appreciate that. So, do we have a motion to approve the comprehensive district improvement plan?
I make a motion to approve the district comprehensive district improvement plan.
We have a motion by Ms. Hall. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Bennett. All in favor?
Aye.
Passes 4-0. Any discussion on the individual, the CSIP programs, the CSIP
You're right.
plans for the individual schools? If not, do we have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Ms. Ritchie. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Hall. All in favor?
Aye.
Passes 4-0. Thank you. Finance and Human Resource Update. Acknowledgement of monthly Clark County Public Schools financial update. You want to take a recess?
You don't care.
I'm sorry, can we take a 5-minute, just a 5-minute recess?
Alicia, I think I do this to you every time you get up here. It's nothing personal towards you.
Let's take a 5-minute recess.
Get ready for the finance conversation.
Let's re-adjourn at, we're in adjournment at 7:32. We'll re-adjourn at, say, 7:40, if possible. quick break. So, let's, continue with, monthly financial update. She's gone.
There she goes. And she's back.
PowerPoint. All right.
The grand entrance right there. Let's just be clear about that right now.
You gotta liven it up a little bit. All right.
It's the best in the world.
All right. Yeah. Best board in the world. Yeah.
We're building on this momentum. It's fantastic.
All right, so you all see this PowerPoint monthly. It's just kind of keeping you updated each month and how we compared ourselves to the prior time last year, and we are still operating really kind of how we have. We're 1% up in our revenue collections prior to last year. We're spending right at 32%, so we're spending same. Taxes, fantastic news. We are right where we were last year, and we collected all of our taxes last year, but we did get an email from Sheriff Perdue that we are 94% collection rate already in January. So with the January check that is in the board minutes tonight, that will be reflected next month's packet. So, I mean, we are spot on to be 100% on all of our tax collections, which is one of our largest sources of revenue. So that's fantastic news. Any questions when it comes to that stuff? Like, my presentation is short and sweet this time.
Yeah.
I have no extras this month.
I didn't see anything out of the norm. Anything?
Nothing, absolutely nothing out of the norm.
Okay. Any questions? No. Okay, it's just an acknowledgement, so we'll move on. Authorized payment of salaries and accounts payable.
Pay the bills, please.
Yeah.
I make a motion to authorize payment of salaries and accounts payable.
We have a motion by Ms. Hall. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Bennett. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0. Next section, staff and retention and recruitment. Staff retention and recruitment. Consider approval of staff recruitment and retention strategy plus hours. Ms. Dr. Tammy Parrish.
Good evening. So several retention and recruitment items are going to be presented to you tonight, and we do this with several goals in mind, and number one being that we are truly dedicated to retaining and recruiting the most highly qualified staff, while keeping students our forefront focus in their achievements. So starting off, the first one's going to be called Plus Hours, and so this retention and recruitment strategy benefits certified staff. So beginning July 1st, 2023, we would like to offer plus hours to staff that had completed 50% of their certification program. So this is working towards a master's degree, an EDS degree, a doctorate degree. There's some other districts that do this. They call it plus 15. They don't really give the 50%, so we'll be the only district doing the 50% if we get this approved.
Okay, so when you say plus 50%, does that mean extra time off? Does that mean increase in their salary?
Yes, so a master's degree, they incur a rank change. So when they get 50% to a master's degree, that would be 15 hours, and then 30 hours, and then 60 hours.
Okay,
So when they get
gotcha.
halfway to completing that next degree, we're gonna go ahead and give them 50% of the salary. So if it's a $5,000 raise, when they submit their transcripts, we're gonna give them the $2,500.
Okay.
So, no, you're good.
It makes
We feel like it'll lighten a financial hardship and kind of be a reward at the same time.
Because I looked at it last night, and it looks like it has a whole array of, it's not just teachers, but there's other staff members who could potentially benefit from this, correct?
This is for certified staff only.
Certified.
This one is, you're talking about
Something else.
Level Up.
It's later on.
Oh,
Yes,
sorry.
it's the third one coming.
I'll just quit talking.
You're good. No, you're good.
Yeah.
Any concern, budget concern for this at all?
So I spoke with Fayette County, who kind of does something similar to this, but in the attrition piece and just how you budget, it kind of just folds into the budgeting cycle of payroll, and I don't think we're gonna feel a major impact on the budget with it.
If anything, I think it'll be an ease in.
Yeah.
So instead of giving the $5,000, you're doing it
Yeah.
in increments.
So for example, with the master's degree, is it a 30-hour master's degree or a 60-hour master's degree?
It depends on the certification.
The certification.
So I put a little blurb in there where it talks about it at the top. So the continuing education option programs, so KEDC and CKEC have put together some programs where teachers can do highly qualified professional development and move up the rank change. They call those in-house rank changes. This plus hours is for certification only, so they have to be going, it can't be Bloomberg. it has to be through a university, it has to be through an accredited credentialing program. So they have to come out with like a DPP or a superintendent certification. It doesn't necessarily have to be a degree, it just has to be a certification program.
And this just is not my lack of knowledge, but does our school system provide any type of reimbursement for when they're going to schools? Is there any type of thing like for that?
So the board did vote to do the Bloom Board, which does provide the rank 1, and we've offered to pay for all of it. So they're paying 100% for that.
Okay.
A master's degree is a little different, but the federal government has put forth the public service loan forgiveness, and teachers do qualify for that now. So instead of just teacher forgiveness at $5,000, they can apply for public service loan forgiveness up to $250,000.
Okay.
So,
Thank you.
you're very welcome.
Any other questions or discussion? If not, I'll make a motion to approve the staff recruitment and retention strategy plus hours.
A second.
Second by Ms. Hall. All in favor? Aye. Passes 4-0. Next item, consider approval of school psychologist wage study and proposal.
Okay, so I brought part of the dream team to come up and introduce themselves. They have a really quick little PowerPoint because I felt like they could do a better job at explaining what they do and why we are in dire need to retain them and recruit a few more. So I'll let these ladies introduce themselves. The rest of their team is at a conference in Louisville, I believe. So.
Either one other member.
Yeah.
So is it just one missing?
Yes,
Okay.
that's true.
Well, and Bridget.
And Bridget. Okay.
I'm Brooke Messer.
I'm Lauren Rice.
And I'm Stacy Goose. And like she said, Allison Nelson couldn't be here because she's at a Quell conference in Louisville. So we put together a very brief PowerPoint. Hopefully it's not too bad. I know you guys have been here for a while. Just to kind of give you an overview of what we do, where our school psych department is at this year, because we have seen some significant changes from last year towards this year. So just starting off, we put in here a little infographic to kind of overview everything that we are able to do as school psychologists. I know that's probably pretty hard for you to see, so we will go over it a little bit more in depth in a couple of slides. So first thing that I feel like a lot of people actually don't know about us is our level of training that it takes to be a school psychologist. We do have to get a bachelor's and a master's degree, but we also have to go further than that to also acquire a specialist degree. And within that degree, we have to do a year-long internship, which is full-time, every day. I was actually an intern last year here and stayed on over to this year, so I know exactly how much it takes to be an intern. It is a very difficult process to get through all of that, as well as taking a master's exam, the praxis exam, and a specialist exam, and then applying for the National School Psychologist certification after that and having a portfolio. But even after we get through all of that and we actually obtain our degrees, we have to do a lot of upkeep to keep our certifications. So every 5 years, we have to have 72 hours of professional development or 6 graduate hours and 3 years of practice within that time frame as well.
So she's selling themselves a little short. These ladies are almost doctors. They're such specialists in what they do, and want to give them a little props. Thank you.
So, like she mentioned, we do a year-long internship to obtain the certification. So, the internship is a full-time job in the school, so you're hired as school staff. And with that, you have your university requirements, so you're still attending classes and completing work, but you're also carrying a caseload as a school psychologist. And so it's really diving in so you get the experience that you need. So we get experience with that, with providing interventions, doing counseling, completing psych evals, and then some systems level supports. And another requirement of that is that the person who is supervising the intern has to be a school psych for at least 3 years. So after completing the internship, you will need to have worked 3 years. So each week, you have to have a minimum of 2 hours face-to-face supervision with your supervisor just going over, what areas you need to improve, what's going well. And in addition to that, the intern supervisor also has to observe in ARC meetings, observe the intern with testing, and read and sign off on all of their reports. And it could be a lengthy revision process to go over those reports. So at minimum, supervision usually requires 8 hours a week for the intern supervisor. And when we're full-time psychologists carrying a full caseload, that's a full day per week that we're dedicating to training that intern to be prepared to be a practicing school psych.
Okay, so we said all of that to say that we've all received highly specialized training and education to be here. And the goal of that is to be able to provide a really comprehensive support system to our students and families. Currently, we have a massive nationwide shortage of school psychologists. So here in Clark County, we're kind of limited in our ability to serve at the moment. We're pretty heavy in the special ed world, but we're not able to do as much mental health support, behavior support as we would like to. We're really focused on our students right now, but ideally, we'd be able to support our staff and our families a lot more than we're able to at the moment, just the four of us.
So this kind of goes more into our job duties, mostly that we are currently able to do right now. But you can see this one's a lot larger than the other ones because this is primarily what we're focusing on is our comprehensive psychoeducational evaluations. So within these evaluations, they can typically take about 15 hours to complete one. Sometimes they may take over 20 hours. It really just depends on the evaluation, but it is a pretty lengthy process to get through with all of the testing and report writing and interviews and observations and everything that is included with that. So you can see down here, we looked over the past 5 years to see the average total, and that was 420 evaluations. So thinking of that for this year, with there only being 4 of us doing over 100 evaluations that each take at least 15 hours is a lot. So we kind of just wanted to give you an idea of what we do on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, so aside from the evaluations, we all have really high caseloads this year. But other than that, we're involved in crisis response and threat assessments. So not only have our evaluations increased this year, the number of threat assessments and the amount of time we spend in crisis response has increased as well since the pandemic. So it's really hard to juggle that some days with just the 4 of us. We also do academic and behavioral consultation with our teachers when we can, if they can catch us. But we just wanted to give you all a visual kind of what day-to-day looks like.
So when you're on, so you're talking about day-to-day, so there's just 4 of you. How do you split up the duties across the district? I mean, where do you go? I mean, do you all have dedicated schools you go
Each
to?
of us, we try to.
Okay.
So we all have like assignments. Most of us have 2 schools at least. And then when someone's struggling one month, we have like monthly meetings to figure out who's struggling, and we just pick up the slack where it's needed.
And they work weekends and nights. They're
Are,
leaving that.
are we short? I mean, how many are we short?
So last year there were 6 of us. We're going to talk about the retention over the years in the next few slides. But
Okay.
yeah, so last year there were 6 of us, and we each had 1.5 to 2 buildings. And so now we each have 2 buildings that we're dedicated to, but so today it was in 4 buildings. And so now a typical day is me bouncing between 4 or 5 buildings. And I mean,
we're all a little bit of everywhere.
Yeah, so
Okay.
it went from being, dedicated to a certain staff last year that knew that they could count on us to be in their buildings to just
Got it.
surviving this year.
They're also
Yeah.
mentoring our facilitators because we've got high turnover for facilitators, so they're also mentoring them as well, along with the teachers and administration.
So this is what we were kind of bringing about, so nice transition. So we also looked over the previous 5 years to see the turnover rate, and in our district it has been 55%. which is a large percentage to think about. That's a lot of people that we've lost just over the last 5 years. And there are currently at least 42 open positions in Kentucky, which I know off the bat may not sound like a lot, but thinking about each district only having a few school psychologists to begin with, that's a lot for how many districts we have in the state. And also taking into consideration this is just mid-year, so I believe like last May there were, I want to say 70 positions open, so we do expect to see an increase in those positions as well.
And another thing that continues to compound the problem is the universities. So you've only got one university in the state, right, that's licensing?
Yes, we have two, actually,
in the
as
whole
of right
state.
now.
So the other one's Western, and
Yes.
so typically they don't drive this far.
Yeah.
Is Eastern the one you?
So UK,
Oh,
yeah,
UK.
Eastern's closed a couple of years ago.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
So we did have more school psychology programs, but now even those are kind of going away. So we don't even have as many candidates to recruit from the universities at this point.
Right, and a contracting service is gonna cost you
Oh.
double and triple,
Yeah.
and you don't have that relationship. I mean,
So do we not have interns in this year?
Mhm.
No.
so we actually talked about recruiting more interns, but that's why they put the slide in there. When you recruit more interns, you take them away from the kids, because they are the supervisors. And they have to dedicate 8 hours, which is an entire day.
And being short-staffed, it's just not
Right.
practical right now.
Right.
Yeah.
And on the flip side, I'm a big believer in interns. You also you're modeling and hopefully be able to retain them, just like you
Yeah,
retained
so those
her.
are, Brooke and I
Yes.
both started
Yeah.
here as interns, and interns are a great thing, but currently, we just can't give them the support that they need.
But yes, that's our end goal, is
Yeah.
to keep interning.
And also, I mean, I'm coming from a background of mental health. You do have community partners out there that are able to help, and so being sure that we all come to that table and that we all can help. I mean, there are specific things that you all can do, but there's also other disciplines that can do some of those other things. Because what people don't understand is school psychologists are the only ones that can do testing. I can't do testing, even though I have a lot of education, but that's not my role, but you all are specifically trained in that. And it's very important for our exceptional children, for you all to be able to do that. So, have you all looked at how the schools can partner? I mean, we have multiple mental health partners in the school system coming in. So some of those things that you're concerned about, so you can focus on the exceptional children. Have you all looked at that?
We do. We have multiple partnerships, and Mrs. Bush can attest to the fact that we tried to bring on a couple more even last year, but everybody's in the same boat. Like, it's
Right.
not just a Clark County issue. This is a
Sure.
state, yeah.
Sure.
But yes, we're definitely opening.
Yeah.
Open partnerships.
Mhm.
Okay, so the National Association for School Psychs, the recommended ratio for psych to student population is 1 to 500 students. And we're currently sitting at 1 to 1,325. So we're almost triple the recommended ratio at the moment, just to give you all an idea of kind of where we're at, what we're trying to juggle right now. And the whole point of that was just, we are struggling, we're all a little swamped right now. And moving forward, we'd like to be more competitive, to get people to come here and be able to keep them. So that was the whole point.
So that leads me to the request. So we're asking to add 10 additional days to their contract year, and to provide them with a $7,000 stipend. And in your packets, we included the wage comparability study, and you can see how we are grossly underpaid. But we met with these ladies. They did a fantastic job. This PowerPoint is a great representation of what they do for us, and we all felt like this was a good compromise for being able to retain them and to hopefully recruit a couple more.
The adding of those days, will that help with some of these tasks that they're feeling overburdened with?
That's what they've told us.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Ms. Ellis, what are your thoughts on the budget when we look at that?
It obviously is an increase. There is 4 of them currently. We've posted for 2 and had no applicants. So I mean, that is a nice chunk of money to the budget, but when you look at what they provide service-wise and the need of what is going on right now, I mean.
So we met with
They
Mrs.
can
Ellis
easily walk
too.
away from us for another district that can pay them more, so.
And where we've not been paying the other two psychs, we've saved that money this whole entire year, and we have had it posted.
We've had two budgeted all year that have never been
Right.
paid for.
Got it.
We don't have them.
So we would like to make
And
this
the payroll budget
effective
is not-
immediately instead of July 1st.
And that'll give us a chance to build it into the budget to make sure we're good for next year.
Okay, so next year it won't be a stipend, it would just be part of the
It
budget?
would be built in as
the
a
salary.
stipend, but it would be included in the
Oh, be
budget.
included in the
Yeah, so we
stipend.
wouldn't be paying it as an
Yeah.
extra, and this year we're paying for it with the savings.
From
of
not having the-
That's correct, so it won't be a movement hardly any
Yeah.
of the budget.
I'm fine with this, but I do have a question, not for you all. Where are we at on the wage study? Like, are we just going through, like, how are they picked or what?
So I'll probably touch on that a little bit in the next one.
Okay.
Because we're gonna do it in shifts.
Yeah, because I mean, I'm getting slammed by a certain group that's been waiting for 3 years. And like I said, I'm fine with you guys. Don't think I'm trying to be like, oh, no, they can't. No, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with, you know, but how are we?
We've got 3 groups in mind for basically in the next 2 months. And we'll get them on board, including the group that you're talking about.
Oh, you know?
Yep.
Okay, yeah, because
I've had meetings with them, they know, and I know they know, and we gotta take care of them.
Okay, yeah, because I mean, it's starting to, they've waited through 3 superintendents, so, okay. That was my.
We got 'em.
Okay. That was my question.
I think.
Thank you all for your
Yeah.
hard work.
The school psychologist is an important piece that I don't think a lot of people understand, but I mean, a lot of times you start out when they're little developmental delays and you follow them through grade school and up until their 9th birthday, and the IEPs are so important, and you all have such a great understanding. It's very specialized, and I appreciate all you do and appreciate the reports that I've read in the past. So, you know.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Yeah, my questions were not, and I didn't mean for them to sound negative, but they did, because that was not my intention at all.
No, we appreciate your input.
Yeah, because it's important, so. Bill,
Any discussion, any more discussion? Do we have a motion?
I make a motion to approve the school psychologist wage study and proposal.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, passes 4-0. Thank you all.
Thank you. I do want to interject because I do want to address some things because it does seem like we're piecemealing it. So I appreciate you bringing that up. I think at this point, with the direction of the board, I know that the board chair and I are having weekly meetings every Friday. That's new, so we can open up communication, be a lot more transparent, be a lot more intentional. But working with your board chair, if there's things that you want me to go ahead and put on, even if we were going to push it out, let's go ahead and get it on. Again, I work for you guys, and I want to make sure that our staff don't see us up here not communicating clearly and transparently, because that's not how we do business. It may have been at one point, we don't do it anymore. We got to take care of folks, and they need to see our vision and how we're going to work. So I do appreciate you bringing it up, because if not, it's going to be the talk in the building as a building principal, not three months ago.
It was a conversation brought up today.
Yeah.
When you've been in the district for 20-some years, and then you see somebody, an application, or a, what'd I tell you earlier? A job posting.
Yeah, job posting.
And they're gonna come in making more than you. It's a hard thing to swallow, and so, I mean, it needs, and I had already contacted Bill about it as well, to discuss it with him on.
And this time of year is a great time to do it because we can build it into the budget, so we're not overspending. We can't just give gift presents out because that's fiscally irresponsible. But now with the budgeting process, with us approving the draft budget last month, this is a great time to go ahead and put some of those things in place so we can again build it in for the budget.
Yeah.
So I
Like I
appreciate
said,
it.
I didn't want to take anything away from them. You
Yep.
all did an excellent job, and it had nothing to do with you. I just needed to, it's hard for me to cast a vote on that without clarifying with that, when I'm already being questioned about it today.
And again, that's why we do it. I appreciate it, Ms. Ritchie.
Okay, next item, consider policy revisions. I'm sorry, wrong one. Consider approval of level up opportunities for classified hourly round 1.
Yes, so this is a recruitment and retention strategy for classified hourly employees only. So beginning July 1st, we'd like to offer the level up opportunities, and this is round 1 for the classified staff. So this gives employees the ability to work their way up the salary scale by increasing their level of expertise through certification, which is similar to what certified staff is doing. So these certifications are beyond job requirements and must be completed outside of normal work duties on personal time or receive supervisor-approved professional meeting status. Round one's going to include all administrative support personnel, so bookkeepers, secretaries, specialists, analysts, attendance clerks, the technology department, the maintenance department, operations department, custodians, and our mechanics. So each level in your packet that you can see is 1 year of pay scale. So if they complete a certification that says it's worth 2 levels, yeah, there's an example. So if it's worth 2 levels, then they'll move up 2 years on the classified hourly pay schedule. If it's worth 10 levels, 10 years, and so on. Employees will at first, so here's something a little different. So there are 2 districts in the state doing something similar, but ours has been created by these people in this room. Everybody's had some input, so that way this focuses on our district goals and missions and vision. But other districts are doing something similar, but we're the only ones that are saying, once you complete this, we're going to reimburse you. So our classified staff's going to have some skin in the game and say, I'm going to do this certification. They're going to pay for it. As soon as they turn that certification into us, we will reimburse them, and they will get their immediate pay raise. So, and you can look through them, and there's a great variety of what people can certify in. A lot of our directors and supervisors put a lot of thought into, especially with our custodial department. Mr. Dameron did a fantastic job at looking at things that we could increase the expertise level of other classified staff to maybe expedite, help tickets or maintenance requests. If a custodian could take care of something at the building level, then that frees up the maintenance department to be more efficient in taking care of other things.
So on the reimbursement, are we just planning just to reimburse the certificate costs?
Yes,
Not travel
Not
back
travel,
and forth?
no,
any
and
of
that's
that?
why it says certification only. So in the
Okay.
packet, it says certification only, because I wanted to make that clear that we
Don't
weren't
want
gonna do.
somebody to go flying out west.
Right,
to
yeah.
get a certification.
No,
Okay.
yeah.
Good foresight on that.
And it has to be one of ours that we've approved, that the board's approved,
Okay.
so they can't just make up
I
something.
mean, I think it's great to provide incentives for all employees to continue their education, no matter what role they may be in the district.
Yeah.
Can someone in the technology department tell me what Clever is?
So,
Yeah, it's it's a rostering program, that's probably maybe 500 to 1,000 companies use to, roster our kids, from our Infinite Campus system and put them into their program. So it's like a go-between, but it's very involved. It takes several hours of training to understand how it works and how to implement it.
Okay.
But we've been using it for about 1.5 years now.
So it goes from Infinite Campus to.
Yeah, it's like a bridge between Infinite Campus and then whatever software.
Oh, okay, so it could be
implemented,
different
yeah.
softwares. Okay.
Yeah, because Infinite Campus doesn't really talk with several hundred other softwares out there, so Clever serves as a go-between.
Okay.
But every software is kind of unique and has its own little quirks. And so
Sure.
Clever kind of irons out those quirks, and we have to be certified in how to use Clever.
Do that. Okay, well, thank you. I appreciate that.
we like this as a retention strategy as well,
Yeah.
because once they do it here, it's good here, so it makes it a little bit more of an incentive to stay here, because they're gonna be rewarded for it.
Yeah.
Is our entire data network with Extreme Networks?
Pardon?
Is our entire data network built on Extreme Network?
I would say 100% of our network equipment uses Extreme.
Okay.
That would be switches, routers, and wireless access points.
So
And
no,
they-
go ahead.
And as they continue to update their equipment, my staff, myself included, needs to be up to speed on
Sure.
updates in the industry and updates on the equipment themselves.
Is there any thought of, there's other certifications out there with other networks and technologies. This is based upon just what we have in-house today that's what it looks like, right? This is like, we use these tools today, so we want certifications on these tools. So as new tools may become available, then there'll be
I
maybe
say-
new certifications
Yeah, I say
that
we
will
keep
be
this
added.
the committee together and we evolve
Okay.
as the district's needs change.
Yeah, I think one of the suggestions I offered to Dr. Parrish was that it's a living document that we continue to update it. And that very last bullet point under technology is sort of a general catch-all, where it just kind of says relevant factory certifications from Lenovo, Dell, HP, Apple. That could include Juniper Networks or some of our other network
Yeah.
partners.
Yep, okay.
Just real quick on the maintenance operations, it says it excludes the supervisor, so how many supervisors do we have in maintenance?
So we have 2 and they're already receiving stipends for
They
those
already get
positions.
stipends
Mhm.
for them, okay, all right. They have been extremely, when they have presented, or I've been in like a community forum with them, the supervisors are definitely very knowledgeable and express and explain things very well, so I just wanted to make sure of that. And actually, the whole department that I've talked with, so, I think, Mr. Talby, this is a great thing, so.
Any other discussion?
No, I'm good.
We have a motion.
So moved.
Mr. Bennett,
Second.
second by Ms. Ritchie, all in favor? Aye, passes 4-0. And next is, consider policy revisions for 03.1231 and 03.2231, second readings.
So yes, this is our second reading of the personal leave. So we proposed last month to change our personal leave from 2 days and 1 day as a probationary period to everybody gets 3. So when you come on to us, you're gonna get 3. I really was shooting for 4, but KSBA was like, nah, that's illegal. So we'll settle with 3. But we just wanted to offer everybody 3 personal days and follow the rest of the policy being prorated.
Any questions, discussion, the second reading? We have a motion.
I'll make the motion.
Ms. Ritchie makes a motion, any second?
I second.
Second by Ms. Hall, all in favor?
Aye.
Pass 4-0.
Thank you all so much.
Thank you, Dr. Parrish.
On to internal board business. Approved donation of GRC project graduation for an amount of $5,000. I was talking to Mr. Howard about this. We went back and looked what we had done in the past, and we wanted to go ahead and put this on the agenda. This is what we did last year. We could change the amount, we can lower the amount, increase the amount, or we can just keep it the same. So wanted to open that up for discussion,
Did
and
we raise it last year?
I think we raised it last year. I think
Yeah.
it was like 2,500 or
That's
something
what
the
I
year
thought.
before, and then last year I think we raised it to 5,
And
so.
I attended the first meeting last week just to listen and hear, and with the senior parents, there was quite a turnout there at GRC, and project graduation's been going on for years. It happened when I graduated a few years ago, so yeah, everybody chuckles, yeah. But you know, the things that they do and the kids that show up, there's a lot of thought that goes into it, and I think, you know, us being able to give them this amount now shows how much they need to fundraise, because there's a lot of fundraising, a lot of community partners and that sort of thing. So I think that this is a good thing in the right amount to give them for the project for our seniors, and that our seniors have been through this. These kids going, you know, these seniors have been through a lot with COVID. You know, part of it was they were part of middle school and high school during the COVID. So being able to celebrate, this is a good thing for them to enjoy their graduation. It's a once in a lifetime thing. So, and it's safe. It
Yeah.
keeps them safe.
I'm a little older. We didn't have this when I went to school, so.
They
So I think it's a great thing.
You're not that much older than me, but yeah.
I think that's, I think it's,
had it when I graduated.
I think it is a great thing. It does give them a chance to get a starting amount and know how much they need to fundraise. So thank you for bringing it to our attention.
You're welcome.
I'm good with the amount.
You good, everybody good with the amount? Do we have a motion?
I make the motion to approve the donation for GRC project graduation for the amount of $5,000.
Motion by Ms. Hall, the second.
Second. Go ahead.
You can have it. Whichever.
Mr. Bennett, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Passes 4-0.
Gotta get used to Mr. Bennett being down there. And Dora having to alternate up here.
Consider approval for board members and superintendents to attend KSB Annual Conference February 24th through 26th, 2023 at the Louisville, at the Galt House in Louisville. Yeah, what was it
Spit it out,
worded?
buddy.
Well, it just wasn't worded right in there. So, just for
Dang it,
the
that's
community to know that we as board members, we have continuing education hours that we have to do every year as well. Some members that's been on here longer don't have to do as many as some of the others. But we do need to do continuing education, and the conference does allow us to go and attend sessions and get the training that is required by Kentucky School Board Association. So that's what that's for.
And networking amongst other school board members and interacting with the KSBA staff is very valuable to
Oh,
us.
absolutely. We get to interact with KSBA, and KDE is there, we have vendors there. There's also other school districts that, over the years, that are close by, we've got to know and stole ideas from them, they stole ideas from us, so it's a good networking opportunity.
Yeah, I can assure you that my few hours I have to have, it always comes in way over.
Yeah, I know.
Because you end up getting there, finding stuff that seems really interesting that you go to.
So, I'll make a motion to approve attending the KSBE conference.
Second.
Second by Ms. Ritchie, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, passes 4-0. Next item is consider approval to enter into a contract with Grant Chenoweth, is it Chenoweth? Chenoweth, and attorney with Porter, Banks, Baldwin, and Shaw, PLLC. We have a board attorney, but this is a specialized attorney contract that is actually very similar, if not a little less than the current contract that we have, that specializes in certain areas of the district that we may need to take advantage of at some point. And if you want to speak a little bit more about that.
So this firm is already representing the district on some matters through insurance coverage, and had Mr. Chenoweth and his father, who's now retired, have represented the district in the past and are previous superintendents in special ed matters, and they actually are representing the district in a special education matter that's pending right now. It's my recommendation that the board retain them just on an as-needed basis. They won't be the regular board attorney at board meetings, but when matters pertaining to special ed come about, they can be used on an as-needed basis. I've already consulted with Mr. Chenoweth on some ongoing matters numerous times, and I think he certainly needs to be compensated for his time. And I think he's already working with some administrators and has a pretty good rapport. So it would be my recommendation that the board enter a contract so that he can be utilized as needed.
And the work he will be doing is work you're not going to be doing, so the
Exactly.
district will not be getting billed twice.
No.
Okay. Just want to be transparent
And
there.
with the hopes of avoiding further litigation.
Yep. Okay. Any questions, discussion?
My questions were answered earlier today.
Okay.
So, yes.
Do we have a motion?
I make a motion to approve to enter into a contract with Grant Chenoweth on an attorney with Porter, Banks, Baldwin, and Shaw, PLLC.
We have a motion by Ms. Hall. I'll second. All in favor? Say aye. Aye, passes 4-0. Okay. Next item is the one we did add at the beginning of the meeting. Consider and approve District 4 Board of Education application deadline. In our earlier meeting this month, we did re-accept the resignation of Ms. Richardson because her new term would have started in January. So by the advisement of KSBA, that's what we've done. We need to, as a board, set a deadline. We have 60 days to fill that position. So we need to set a deadline of those applications so that we have time for interviews and appointment. So I'll open it up to see what dates that you all would like to.
I would think you would end it around the 10th, because you want to give them time and give Beth time that if we appoint someone to get them to the conference in February, because a new board member would definitely benefit there. Because you've got to have, what, 12 hours starting out?
Yes, and they have like a track that they help you go through when you're
Yeah.
brand new. So, Is the 10th soon enough for that? Will we be able to do the interview? Will we have the availability? Will all of us have that availability?
Well, you would do the interviews after the 10th.
Yeah. Will that give us enough time, I guess is what I'm making sure.
Well, you got the week of the 13th, which,
Has it been advertised?
It-
It has not, because I did not have a date to put on.
Oh, okay, for a day.
but we advertised it last year.
We did. We
So
advertised it
when
twice.
when we accepted the initial resignation, we did advertise it. So there has been applicants. So we wanted to make sure that if there's anybody else out there interested, give them some more time, because there was a deadline on that one, and that has passed. So we want to give, a couple more weeks to the public in case anyone out there wants to apply.
It's just been really confusing.
Yeah, it was a little confusing because her term was ending, that she was starting another term, so we had to rely on KSBA for some guidance.
What days could you do? Can you do 13th or 14th? Well, 14th is Valentine's, but I don't know what everybody's doing.
Nothing.
Same.
So.
Billy?
Let me see.
He's got other ideas. I'm just, do we have to do another 2 weeks, or could we, I mean, if we would highly encourage them to go to that conference at the end of the month, and that would give them a week to make plans if they needed to.
I mean, we could end it on the 3rd and then do interviews the 6th, week of the 6th.
I'm fine with that too.
That gives everyone a little less than 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But that still opens it up if anyone out there is interested.
That week would work for me.
Will that work?
I'm looking through the guidelines that it has to be advertised on the district's website and circulated in newspaper for 2 weeks.
Yes. And
Okay.
because of the print dates of the Winchester Sun, I don't know that we will be able to get it done by the 6th. They only print twice a week.
So when's the next time they print?
They printed it on Saturday, but the deadline was this morning at 10 a.m. So the next time we could get in would be on Tuesday.
Do we have to advertise it through the Winchester Sun, or is it advertisement through social media on our website? Is that
It does
suitable?
have to be advertised in the Winchester
It
Sun.
has to
Even
be
though it's already
advertised.
been advertised twice before?
I've contacted Matt Cooper at KSBA.
Advertise the vacancy on the school district's website and in the newspaper.
With a
Make
lot of
sure the
print.
public advertisement is in place for 2 weeks, including information on where to access the application.
So you're thinking we won't be able to meet that deadline for the Saturday's publication?
We will not.
Will
It
not?
was this morning at 10.
And when is the next when do they publish again?
Tuesday.
Tuesday, so it would be on the 31st before we could get it in?
Correct.
So that's it.
So we could advertise on the 31st and the 4th. We could get those both submitted.
Okay.
But when do we put our deadline?
There's no way we can push this where they can make the conference, I don't think. It wouldn't, it's unfortunate, but
If you do the 31st and the 4th, and then the 7th and the 10th, or do you have to have, it's gotta be, you
Just
could,
2 weeks.
so you could still end it on the 10th, right?
End it on the 14th if it publishes on the 31st. So you could possibly do interviews like on the 16th or 17th.
Yeah.
Which would be 1 week before the conference. How much notice do you need to get rooms booked?
I can probably do that very easily. They don't tend to fill.
and we don't even know if we're going to appoint someone, we don't know, what the applicant's going to be, we don't even know if the applicants, if someone is appointed, if they can even make the conference, so.
Right.
So, I think we just follow it, we end it on the 14th. And we could have a meeting on the 15th if that works with everyone, special meeting,
Sure.
okay?
When?
All right, so advertisement will end on the 14th, then we'll have a special call meeting on the 15th at 6:30 here at the board office to evaluate applications. We need motion for that? Ms. McCoy? Be
Before
safe?
we have, before there, you just advertise it and let it run.
Okay. Okay.
So you're putting it in when?
The 31st and the 4th. And then it will.
Who's over that? Is Warren over it? Or Tara?
You gonna call Warren up?
I guess.
It's not, it's someone else. I have to email someone else to submit the advertisement.
Where is Warren? He's usually here every.
Let's, yeah, I suggest we just go with that to be safe, knowing, and,
I'd say that too, but then you could also say first available, and if Warren was happening to pull something off, and you could get it in there earlier, then you're covered.
well, we don't know when we can do that, so I think we need to stick with the 14th or
So
15th.
I'll let you know.
Okay.
If you want to come back to it.
Okay, I think we're set for now. 14th, will be the deadline, and the 15th will be special call meeting. All right, any other discussion on that before we move on? All right, consent agenda items. Do we have any discussion, anything that will be pulled out and discussed? Any questions?
No.
No? Do I have a motion to approve all of the consent items?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Bennett, we have a second.
Second.
Second by Ms. Ritchie, all in favor?
Aye.
Passes 4-0. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Do I have a motion by Ms. Ritchie,
I second.
second by Ms. Hall, all in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned at 8:27 PM.
2 minutes and 52 seconds.
Listen to.